It's day 5 at the Australian Open, and the big story only happened a few hours ago because Daniil Medvedev is out of the Australian Open, losing to Ben's wildcard, Lerner Tien. We're going to be talking about all the other action, but the focus is on Tien.
Lerner Tien, remember the name, my wild card for the year, where everyone was talking about Fonseca, and he is a super talent, but everyone forgot about Lerner Tien, and he is a quick learner. Let me tell you, at Grand Slam level, he took out Daniil Medvedev in an incredible match. It was match of the tournament by far, and it had its peaks, its troughs. Medvedev playing some fantastic stuff. But Lerner Tien, I've not seen anybody step up to the plate. A 19-year-old with barely any Grand Slam experience to take out somebody who's been to the Australian Open final 3 times, nearly won it twice. What a performance. And to do that in the 5th set after losing sets 3 and 4, I thought was nothing short of unbelievable.
At 3 a.m, he beats Daniil Medvedev. That's how late it was in Australia. He had to do it the hard way, going all the way to a 5th set tiebreak. And astonishing, really, because after that 4th set, like you said, it seemed like Medvedev winning it 6-1. He was just going to go into the 5th and finish him off. I don't think anyone gave Lerner Tien a chance. He said he just needed a pee. That's why he rushed through the 4th set.
I like that.
But in a way, I think it was a very smart move because he was able to conserve his energy and maybe lull Daniil into a false sense of security, thinking that he's done, but he wasn't, and he had an extra gear. The level of the match throughout was so high. I thought it was an outstanding tennis match between 2 brilliant players, and this is a good place to start because, in the words of Daniil Medvedev, I guess Lerner Tien's having money, girls, and casino, etc. He's going to have it all, isn't he?
Well, if he continues playing like that, we knew that he was a rising star, but this is definitely the coming out party. I know we had Fonseca beating one Russian in Andrei Rublev, which was sort of something we expected. I don't think anybody, even in my wildest dreams, thought that he could beat Daniil Medvedev. But the first 2 sets were... Well, this was a scoreline. It was 6-3, 7-6, 6-7. So he actually had a match point in the 3rd set. It could have been straight sets. Fair play to Daniil that he actually won that tiebreak because he, in my eyes, I don't think he deserved that set, but he still won it, and that's what some of the great players do. Then that 4th set, as you said, he was sort of like a one-sided. I couldn't work out if it was him just taking it off because he looked fatigued mentally and physically. He says he needed the loo. But whatever happened, he came out for that 5th set ready to go again. And so many winners. I mean, I haven't even had time to look at the stats. I know we had to go back to work. Normally we've been doing these at lunchtime, but this spilled all the way over until about nearly 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. But the winners and unforced errors, this is a 4 hours 48 on the clock. And I'm just having a look now to see some of the statistics. 53.
No, you're right to have a look because the level was so high. I don't know the numbers either. I know you're going to tell us now, but I've never seen someone play so confidently after playing that amount of time on court.
Yeah.
It's first time really been at this stage. It's just not normal.
Yeah, here you go. Here's some of the stats. 53 winners to Tien on the left here, and it is a Medvedev on the right with 52. So there you go. That many winners. Over 100 winners in total. The unforced errors are big as well, though. You got 79 from Tien, and you've got there Daniil Medvedev with 82. So you see how close the match was, really. It was decided on a super tiebreak. That's how close it was, and well done for him. This is what the similarity with him and Fonseca, though. You see how confidently they both played in those big tie-break moments. Like when he did it against Rublev, he's done exactly the same thing, but against Daniil Medvedev. But a Daniil Medvedev who had grown into the match, normally would win in a 5th set, I think, against a a lesser opposition, somebody who's not used to that occasion. I thought it was Daniil's that fifth set coming in, was proved wrong, and I was sort of weighing it up. Who do I want to win before the match? I had picked Daniil to win the tournament, but I also have Tien as my wild card for the year. So I was really torn. It was a win-win, and I'm so happy for Tien. I hope he doesn't falter in the next round.
On the other side of things, it is a crushing defeat for Daniil Medvedev.
That's huge.
Another time losing in 5 sets at the Australian Open. It's going to crush him. And what it means for his rankings, not great either. He's going to exit the top 5.
Yeah.
He spent 242 weeks there. Only player with at least 6 Grand Slam titles plus Vias and Murray were ranked for top 5 or longer. Although Zverev seems poised to pass him by the end of the season. It is sad. He didn't do the press conference, but I think he can be excused for that. It was sort of 3:30 in the morning. And it's another one where he was so close, but just couldn't get it over the line, in which was a very competitive, close match. No one can come out and say Tien was that superior to Medvedev.
No.
He could have won it in straight sets, and he's good value to do so. But still, Medvedev was in all of the sets, and I thought it was relatively competitive. Made too many errors at the start, I think, to give him too much confidence. A prime Daniil, the way he was playing Daniil at the end, if he started like that, I think he would have won them first 2 sets, and it's a different match then. But despite that, I'm just going to put my assessment as it was a 50-50 matchup, which is amazing for Tien, that he can go 50-50 with a Grand Slam champion, someone who is one of the top players in the world, on the hard court especially. And then he just was able to edge it in that moment. So whoever's got Tien next needs to watch out. I think it's Moutet.
Moutet, correct.
Memory. And Tien has got a nice little section now because Medvedev is out. Whoever is going to be playing the next 2 rounds, I reckon will be easier than Medvedev, surely.
A dangerous opponent, Moutet, though, isn't he? He's a very strange
On paper,
opponent.
I mean, it's got to be winnable, but you've got to look at it in terms of, we've seen, this ties nicely onto the next story. So with Joao Fonseca, Fonseca's gone out. We've given him so much hype. Everyone wants to speak about Joao Fonseca. We're saying he's going to be part of the new big 3 with Sinner and Alcaraz, and he's lost in the next match to someone you'd expect him to beat. And that's why we need to be steady with Tien. We're expecting him to go and beat Moutet, but it could be the same thing what happens. The world was talking about Fonseca, and I think the occasion become a little bit too much at this age. The other thing was, with Fonseca, he wins everything very easily and straightforward. All of his matches have been straight sets, quick victories, quick sets. He's been pushed here again by Sonego, losing a few sets. And on that basis, he struggled to maintain that same Tien energy throughout the match. So there's the gas tank, I think someone did say it. There was a tweet, I think Gil Gross mentioned it. He said, you don't have much of an idea of what Fonseca's gas tank looks like, because physically at this point, he's blown everyone out. He's played it for the last 2 months. 0 long matches.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it's that powerful style does get people out of there quickly. And you have to remember as well, it was easy to forget that Tien actually went to 5 sets in his first round match as well. So he'd already run the gauntlet against Ugo Carabelli, and now he's spent on court, I believe, 8.5 hours, nearly 9 hours in 2 matches, which is a lot of tennis. That could come a cropper against Moutet, because Moutet's been on for 4 sets twice, less time on court. He's going to be fresher, that's for sure, and especially not playing until, 3:30 in the morning. I mean, that's crazy time. It started raining at one point. I thought, it's typical. It started raining. It's going to ruin it for him. That didn't affect him. Came through, won the match, and now actually in the live rankings, he overtakes Joao Fonseca, I believe. I think it's only just. Let me just have a check quickly on the live rankings.
I mean, who would have thought that the other day, that your wild card would be ahead of Fonseca come the end, especially playing Daniil Medvedev. But that just goes to show you never know in tennis. And yeah, there he is. 97.
Only by a smidge, 7 points. But he's got an opportunity to win one more match and then go even further. But yeah, both of them have broken the top 100 already in this tournament, which is fantastic. It really is. And people were talking about Fonseca. Well, guess what? Tien is now well and truly on the map, and there'll be a target on his back right now.
Yeah.
He is slightly more awkward because he's a lefty as well. That serve was really causing Daniil a lot of problems going out wide on the ad side. And sometimes the lefties are like Ben Shelton. I don't know if you've seen a story about him that came out. No one wants to practice with him because he's a lefty.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it is a bit awkward. You can't even find people to practice with. So maybe Tien, hopefully, maybe Shelton can go practice.
Unless they're playing, Ugo Umber, Chapo,
exactly,
or Draper. That's the only time they want to practice with Ben Shelton, that's all.
That's it.
But what a fantastic week it's been, though, for young players, and especially the class of 2024 next-gen finals players. It is phenomenal. I've just sent you a tweet now that sums it up. And you've had Tien, 19-year-old, beating Medvedev. You've had 19-year-old Mensik defeating Casper Ruud, number 6. And 18-year-old Fonseca defeating number 9 Rublev. So 3 of the players who were so good in the next-gen finals all coming to the top stage and doing some amazing things. So despite Fonseca losing, you can't be too hard on the kid. He will be back. He left the stadium to a standing ovation, including Lorenzo Sonego. And I think this is just part of his evolution of a player. Tennis is in good hands. And I think these 3, let's watch out to see how they get on throughout the year. Tien, I don't know what he's like on clay courts, but certainly Mensik and Fonseca, they can do it on everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few tweets flying around, obviously, because there's been so many interesting new talents that are coming through. Obviously, Arthur Fee's, we've known about him for a while, but he's still into round.
These are other players, by the way. These are the class of 2024 next gen finals. Mikkelsen, another one who beat Tsitsipas. So many of them. Yeah, and this is another interesting one. Men born in the 2000s who have defeated top 10 players at Grand Slam level before turning 20. Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Holger Rune, João Fonseca, Jakob Mensik, and now Tien on top as well. Brilliant. They're really coming so much, isn't it? All in 2025. We've been so excited when we saw Sinner and Alcaraz and Rune do what they did. It was like, oh, we've got our new big 3 set. I've always said on the podcast, let's just wait because there's going to be a few more people come to the party, and these 3 certainly are there.
And speaking about big 3, Holger Rune, after his victory against Berrettini, they were asking about João Fonseca as well in his press conference. He said, I heard João was getting big 3 shouts. It's cute. I'm working hard myself for the King's Slam later this year, so we'll see who the real deal is there. Oh, do you reckon Fonseca will get a call up for the 6 Kings?
Yeah, that's definitely not real. But, I don't see Holger Rune being there at the 6 Kings. I think they're going to put Fonseca.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a very... he was a bit of a contentious one, wasn't he, even being there at all, because he didn't win a slam. But, maybe Daniil Medvedev will take a step back at the moment because he's probably feeling a bit down in the dumps. He'll want the payday, obviously. But, unfortunate for Daniil. I feel bad for him because his PTSD is probably getting worse and worse in Australia after all these 5-set losses. Where should we move to next? Because they're such big stories, these 5-set matches. There's so much to unpack.
What about Jannik Sinner?
Let's talk about Jannik Sinner for sure, because it wasn't without incident, his match today. No. I was thinking at one point we were going to see Sonego, Berrettini and Jannik Sinner all tumble out within an hour. But no, it wasn't to be. Jannik Sinner's one was just a small little blip, wasn't it? It was the first
dropped a set.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen with Jannik Sinner to drop a set, but look what he did afterwards, and that's why you can't be concerned. The favourite to win the Australian Open is still Jannik Sinner, and I'm saying that loud and proud on day 5. Nothing's changed for me. Something I didn't know is his coach. Did you know about that?
Yeah, he's agreed now to part ways with Darren Cahill at the end of the year. That's pretty big news.
Darren's going to be retiring. He said he wants to be the last player he will ever coach. So we'll see if that's going to impact Sinner. what a great relationship they've had. I think he's helped him so much, Yannick Sinner. If you think about the kid he was when Darren come in to where he is now, truly fantastic. And he's certainly going to be missed on the tour with all of his expertise and what he's been able to influence Sinner with. But Sinner looking very good. Not much more to talk about with a match of him. I just want to announce that I still think he is the big favourite.
Yeah, the thing I was saying to you earlier I'll just say again, that winning a first set, and I think this goes for any of the big players when you're playing in slams, you might be able to win the first set. That's the set you're most likely to be able to win against these big players, because they're going to grow in the match. Their stamina is probably going to be better as well. They're going to be working you out like an onboard computer throughout the first few sets anyway. I think if you could win set number 3 against Yannick Sinner, I would be shocked. Because you don't often see Sinner win the first 2 sets and then suddenly Schoolkate takes the third. That's unheard of, because Sinner's already sussed him out and he'll clean him up in straight sets. So it's an interesting thing. You see all these first set losses. Djokovic takes a first set loss like anybody, but he always tends to come through. But we will see. Thomas Mahatch next for him. Oh, I'm a bit worried about that one. Go check out the preview I did on that one to find out my prediction. Do you have a prediction for that?
Yeah, Thomas Mahatch in straight sets. No, I'm joking. I think Djokovic will win. Let's go down to the women's. We'll go back to the men's because there's a few. If you go to Iga, and we'll speak about Raducanu in a second as well. So Iga, demolition job.
Yeah,
my champion for the Australian Open, looking very good, but not played anyone of note. Raducanu knocked out your wild card. Another one dominant. We're seeing bagels with them too. They've come to the party. They're finding their form in 2025 and cementing themselves at the top of the women's game.
A very good draw for Raducanu. I think this is ideal for her if she wants to gain some confidence coming into the deeper stages of the tournament, to have a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, and now she's got Yastremska in the third round. Obviously, Yastremska did well last year at the Australian Open.
Did well today as well. Look, Danka Kovanic, 6-love, 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible performance, but I still think Raducanu's going to clean her up pretty easily. I think that's going to be a straight sets win again for Raducanu.
Raducanu, you've got a lot to gloat about on this episode, Ben. You're not gloating enough. You've got Raducanu, your favourite player to ever play the sport. You've got Lerner Tien, your wild card, who's doing better than my guy Fonseca.
Yeah, but Katie Boulter
this is your
lost
moment
today as well. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well. Somebody I had in the final, I don't know. I probably lost my head a little bit during the draw preview. Raducanu, let's speak about her. This one was
Can she win the Australian Open?
I don't think so. But I'm all for Raducanu getting more match play in, looking good in spells. But for me, this was another match, and I've said it in the preview as well, where she played somebody like in the first round. Alexandrova she was up and down the whole entire match. Couldn't really take any opportunities when she was a break-up. And the same for Anisimova. 3-1 up in the first set, lost the set, had 5 games in a row. Second set, 3-love up, and then Raducanu took the medical timeout, and then it all sort of turned around. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with some of these players she's playing. Is it just a Raducanu effect that when she steps on the court, the opposition just go, "Oh, I've forgotten how to play tennis," like consistently. We'll find out with Iga, that's for sure.
It wasn't the highest quality at all. It doesn't fill me with loads of confidence that Raducanu is going to be great, but still, she beat who's put in front of her. And I think in the past, she's not been able to do that. So credit to Raducanu for winning her matches.
Not just a set.
Is a tough player on her day, but her day's been and gone for me. And I think she's going to just be someone on the fringes. A bit like Emma Raducanu, though. I don't see her as a top 10 player at all. And yeah, it's just one of them where let's see what her level really is like against Iga, because I think it will be. I think she'll struggle and she'll get maybe 4 games at a push.
Is it I'm tempting fate. I was going to say, is it the perfect time to play Iga, really, or the perfect surface, really? If you're going to play
perfect tournament, the best
Yeah.
tournament, maybe Wimbledon. I think Raducanu would rather play her at Wimbledon with a British crowd on the grass.
Yeah, but
But
I
aside
think
from that, Australia is an opportunity.
she has no. I think no one's expecting her to win this match. That's the one good thing about playing
I
against
don't
Iga.
see her getting close in the set. Do you?
I think maybe a 3. I think I went on my prediction. I said 6-4, 6-2 for Iga, but let's wait and see. Anything can happen. If she steps on court and Iga just suddenly gets dazzled by Raducanu at the other end and just goes, "Oh my word," and starts hitting it out, unforced errors start coming, maybe she just goes through based upon other players not being able to just handle whatever's going on the court. Obviously, it's not going to happen with every player, but it's a bit weird that sometimes they just mess up too often against her. I hope it happens again.
Do you still feel really optimistic about British tennis? I think we've got left with Raducanu, Fernley and Draper now. You was talking about how they was breaking records not too long ago, and now we've got such a great crop of young British players and the future's so bright. They're all right for maybe a round or two at a real push, but they're not that great. They will lose a lot of rounds. Fernley, I'm encouraged by. I think he's got a good future. Same with Draper. He is a top player.
Up against Zverev next.
aside from them two on the women's, there's no one who fills me with much confidence at all. Katie Bolter, probably the best of the bunch, but she lost today. And lost against
a close
someone
match.
who I feel she should be beating.
Back in the day,
On her
I'd say
way
a few
out.
years ago, not a bit harsh. I think Kudermetova,
How old is
probably
Kudermetova?
27. So she's still got a few years left in the tank. Probably looked at her sister and thought, why am I not doing better? And thought, yeah, I'm going to be getting my name back in this tournament. You can go out in the first round, and now I'm going to come back and defeat Bolter, who was actually... She should have lost more convincingly, Bolter, but fair play to her. She was down 5-1 in the first set and got it all the way back to tiebreak, only to lose the tiebreak because Kudermetova turned up again. She won the second set confidently, and then in the third, it was just good tennis. The actual stats for the match were actually pretty good for both players, but yeah, she couldn't win. She looked very dejected when she went off court, Katie Bolter. Obviously, Alex de Minaur was watching. The crowd were trying to get behind her, but... not to be. Maybe on the grass, I think we'll get her best tennis out of her. Maybe she'll have a good run at Wimbledon. I'm excited to see how far she goes there. But
yeah, shout out to Svitolina and Gal Monfils. Incredible, both of them too. You can group them together because they're doing fantastically well. Monfils, I mean, what a start to the year. Only lost to Djokovic. Could this be his year? Could he win the Australian Open?
Wow.
Gal Monfils. He spoke to Game to Love about a month ago in person, and now he's doing some amazing things on a court. And I think he got probably one of the shots of the match, shots of the tournament, I reckon. That one against, what was it, Outmar, who was playing. It was so powerful, smashing it around. Monfils is moving brilliantly, and his defence is one of the best on tour. So I'm fascinated to keep watching Monfils. Go check out the shot and the highlights of the Outmar match.
yeah,
It's a high-level one, and Outmar was hitting it extremely hard, but Monfils effortlessly was able to move around the court and just cushion it exactly where he needed to. Very, very easy on the eyes, that match.
yes, very much so. I want to touch on somebody just quickly, just because I don't know if it's somebody you're aware of, which is Lise. And Lise is somebody who only got into the tournament due to Kalinskaya withdrawing an hour before her match. So she said, I only knew an hour before I was about to go on to court to play who she played in the first match. Let me just find out the name of who she played. Oh, it was Birrell from Australia. She defeated Birrell in straight sets. Now she's just beating Gracheva in 3 sets. And next up, it's Christian, who just beat Bronzetti. So another match that she could potentially win. And she wasn't even in the tournament. She literally found out last minute. It's amazing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
how's your
What a
luck?
story.
I mean, what's the lottery numbers for tonight?
It's pretty crazy. I think maybe it's just no pressure.
That's what it's about, though, Ben. That's what it's about in sport. You've got to take an opportunity when it's given. You can't afford to let it pass you by because you may never get one again. And she's making it worthwhile. So much money she's making, so many career points, going to help her out so much. So I'm happy for her.
And this is a funny point to bring up as well, because the person who knocked her out the final round of qualifying, her draw was worse. She got Danielle Collins and got knocked out. So be careful what you wish for. She goes home with less prize money than Eva Lees in the end because she's had a slightly easier draw for being a lucky loser. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it... Yeah,
Kalinina might not have pulled out, and then she would never have played at all.
There
Paolini there. Look at her go. Not having
mate.
her inside your top 10. Do you have any regrets, Ben?
Maybe.
Was it a bit of hatred?
See.
I know you're very passionate about British tennis, and you keep dismissing the Italian side of things. Not a fan of Sinner, Massetti, all of these great talents. I mean, you talk about, it's not that different to Italian tennis, British tennis. There's so many top players. Massetti going through, Paolini going through. It's a different caliber. What did you make of her? Good?
Just really good. I mean, the way that she gets around the court, and I'm hoping we get to see her versus Raducanu in that section. If we don't, we'll have been robbed. But yeah, she just dispatched Zarazua with ease. Straight sets win. Sets up a match with Svitolina. This is where the tournament really sort of starts for Paolini. This will be a tough match. Svitolina's been playing very, very well herself. She hasn't dropped a set yet. Beat Sestaya and Dollarhide. I think Paolini.
Ooh. Should have put her in the top 10.
She's got a lot to live up to from last year. That was my big fear, is just like once you've done it once, it's difficult to replicate it, especially going to finals of slams, all of that. That's why she is where she is, because she got to the final of 2 slams. Can she do that again? If she gets to the final of this one, then, I mean, I've ruined it, haven't I? but then we'll wait and see, because anything can happen in tennis, as we know. And Svitolina, she sometimes surprises a lot of people. But let's move back up. We've spoken about a lot of the women. One more we'll just speak about just before we move back to the men's is Ons Jabeur. I thought she's just playing brilliant tennis. That was a really difficult match against Osorio Serrano. She sort of had a coffin fit during the match where she said she thought it was asthma playing up. And she said coffin was actually making it worse, but she couldn't stop. And yeah, I'm glad that she got through the match. I'm glad that she's into the 3rd round, because what's she called? The Minister of Happiness or something on the tennis tour. I think that's what they know her as.
Yeah, she is always smiling and laughing. Good friends with a lot of the players in the locker room. But I don't think Osorio is a great player on the hard courts. I think you've given her maybe too high of praise. Struggled through against Sakari, and Sakari, I think anyone can beat her at a Grand Slam in the early stages. So Jabeur did what she had to do, but Osorio's no world beater on these conditions.
What do you reckon on the next match?
Who's she
Jabeur
playing?
versus Navarro.
Navarro, a big favourite, but we'll see.
Okay. Right, let's move back to the men's. And there were still other big stories. Hubie Hurkacz out. That's a big name, and probably one of the biggest upsets, Mia Kecmanovic, in straight sets. I don't think I've seen Hubie Hurkacz losing straight sets at a slam in God knows when.
Yeah, I missed this one. I don't know what was wrong with Hurkacz, if there's an injury or he's not quite at his best. Ever since he struggled at Wimbledon last year when he went down injured, he's not been the same player, and I admitted him from my top 10.
Ever since you interviewed him.
Yeah, ever since I interviewed him, really, and I sat next to him, he struggled.
You put a lot of pressure on him, I think, ahead of that Wimbledon. You said he was going to beat Djokovic.
I know. I've just ruined his career.
I think send him a letter in the post apologising. I think that should cut it. Or maybe send him a clip of this video. There's another Italian doing well. Lorenzo Musetti defeated Chapo in straight sets in the Battle of the Back.
I think we're going to see a special tournament from Musetti. I have him.
The new hair.
For context, I have him in maybe sort of 12th in my rankings. I think it was 12th. Because I do a little extended one for my own personal use of like players from sort of 10 to 18.
I did that for
and he's
Paolini.
right up there.
That's why my caveat, wasn't it? I said she's not in there, but she's around about 11. Just drop that one.
Yeah, Musetti's just on the edge.
That's it. Alex de Minaur, fantastic. I mean, it wasn't the toughest opposition, but the way he plays at the moment, I've noticed that forehand speeds is increasing. So will he have enough power to mix it with the big boys once he comes up against them? In the next round, Alex de Minaur will be facing Cerundolo. I think that he will win that match as well, despite Cerundolo. He had a retirement. He played against Diaz Acosta. So, yeah, that section's hotting up. But I think Alex de Minaur looks like the favourite to keep going through. He's got Khachanov and Mikkelsen in the other match that they could potentially meet. And then maybe Jannik Sinner. And that would be a quarter-final. That's the match we all want.
Yeah, and not really much else to say, I don't think. Fritz easy.
That one.
Duran went to 5. Runa beat Berrettini. That's a good result. But I think we spoke about that. In
Malazan knocking out TFO.
Malazan, I predicted that one. I had him beating TFO. I'm not shocked at all. That was in my bracket. I
good pick.
Was confident in the fact that TFO would lose this match. But I think Malazan, I think he's got a tough match next. Is that right?
Let me just find out for you.
I don't think I like him for the next one.
Malazan is playing Sonego. It's winnable.
It would have been, because it would have been, in my head,
Fonseca.
It was going to be Fonseca, but it's not. So that is a winnable one now for him.
This is the Tien section, we call it now. He's up against Mutet. The winner of that will play either Sonego or Malazan. I think Lerner Tien destined for a potential quarter-final matchup with, who would that be? Maybe, I don't know, I can't work it out on here. Let me have a look.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look later.
Oh, there we go. Some fake news from Ben to end the episode. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And what a day it's been for Ben. It's been a mixed one. Katie Boulter going out, his finalist. But some great news with Lerner Tien, someone who he tipped at the start of the year to do very well, beating Daniil Medvedev. And even better for him, Fonseca's gone out for me.
Yeah, well, if Tien can win another match against Mutet, then he'll make it into a 4th round. He'll just make his way through those rankings a bit more. I'm not looking past Mutet because I think it's a stupid idea too. We saw what happened to Fonseca. Let's just enjoy how well he did against Medvedev. Sad to see Medvedev go and all of the great funny moments he brings in his interviews and his personality. But the youth is here.
Yeah, it's all right. He's only out the tournament. He's not dead, for anyone worried. The way Ben's speaking about Daniil Medvedev. We will see some funny moments in the next tournament. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.